Hey, what's up? My name's Adam, you're watching PictureLocked, and today we're going to talk about some of the movies that I watched in my first year at Colorado Film School. So I watched most of these movies in a class called Development of Film Expression, which may sound a little boring, but it's actually awesome. This is the class where we just watched movies every single class and then discussed them. Yeah, I bet your college isn't that cool. Anyway, yeah, today I just want to talk about a few of the movies that were my favorites from that class, either because they had the biggest impact on me or I just thought that they were the best. But if you want to replicate the class for yourself and come to your own conclusions, the full list of movies is in the description below, and you don't even have to pay to take the class. Anyway, let's get right into it. The first movie on my list is 12 Angry Men, directed by Sidney Lumet in 1957. This movie is really cool because it manages to tell its entire story in one small room with a cast of characters whose actual names we never even learn. It tells the story of a group of jurors deciding whether or not to sentence an 18-year-old boy facing the death penalty, and comes across sort of like a murder mystery. What makes this movie so special is the way in which it explores how each juror is actually making their decisions. Rather than focus on following a narrative story with lots of moving pieces, our focus is shifted solely to the characters we're being presented, and we begin to understand them more from their interactions with the other jurors than from their actions as we usually would. This offers a really cool perspective where we can start to understand the preconceived beliefs and prejudices that go into their decision-making processes.
All these decisions are brought about by personal feelings that may or may not have anything to do with the case. In some instances they do, and in many instances they don't.
So yeah, if you want to learn how to write great characters and kind of get down to what makes them the way that they are, this is an awesome movie to watch. Next is Once Upon a Time in the West from Sergio Leone in 1968. Quick side note, someone in my class kept calling him Sergio, so just thought I'd mention that. Sergio Leone is awesome if you like spaghetti westerns, and this film is probably my favorite of all the work I've seen from him. I think the main reason it's so great is because it was made at the tail end of the western film craze, so it's really able to kind of deconstruct westerns as a whole. It's great at subverting our expectations and giving new perspectives on a genre that was just beginning to become stale, all while being a pretty great western in and of itself. This, however, isn't the main reason it's on this list. What I really took away from it was how powerful and important sound and music are in film. This movie has probably one of my favorite scores of all time and was really revolutionary in terms of sound design for the time. The best example of how cool the sound is in this movie is probably the opening scene, which has no music and very little dialogue. Instead, it's dominated by super pronounced sound design. The scene depicts three gunslingers waiting at a train station for the man they've been hired to kill. Throughout the scene, each of the men have their own small task to deal with, accompanied by a set of diegetic sounds specific to their character. One of them has decided to collect some dripping water in his hat. Another is having the showdown of his life with an obnoxious fly. And the third is really showing his knuckles who's boss. The sound in the scene is pronounced and interesting enough to completely eradicate the need for any sort of music, and allows each character to have almost a mini score to themselves. So yeah, if you like westerns or are at all interested in sound design, I super recommend this movie. Also, even if you're not interested in those two things, just watch it for the music, because the soundtrack is really awesome. Last, but about the farthest thing from least, is Citizen Kane from good old Orson Welles in 1941. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this one because, well, it's Citizen fucking Kane, but I've got to include it because you'd be surprised how many people, even really big movie fans, have never seen it. Anyway, the movie recaps the life of a man named Charles Foster Kane through the perspective of a reporter assigned to uncover the meaning of his dying words. As the reporter interviews people close to Kane, we slowly uncover more and more about his fascinating life. I'm not going to say too much because I think the less you know about this movie going in, the more interesting you'll find it. What I will say is that when you watch it, try to pay attention to what every shot is trying to tell you. This movie is a masterclass in a lot of subjects, but what I took away from it the most was the power of subtext. It's loaded to the brim with the stuff in every single scene, and the ending rewards people who were paying attention to this in such a satisfying way that I nearly yelled, "Whoa, fuck, a color!" on the final reveal. But that's not to say you have to pay attention to every little detail and write a 90-page analytical paper or whatever to enjoy it. What's so great about it is that on top of all that, it's also just a really fun movie to watch. The story is fascinating and mostly pretty easy to follow, the drama is compelling, and it's even pretty funny when it wants to be. Not to mention the fact that it was super revolutionary in a ton of ways when it first came out, and it kinda just changed movies forever. So if you're gonna watch just one movie from this list, I'd recommend watching this one. So yeah, that's all I've got. Those are my 3 favorite movies from my first year at film school. Let me know what you think of my choices, and if you have any other good, like, quintessential film student movies to recommend, please be sure to drop those down below. I hope you guys have all enjoyed. Be sure to drop a like and do all the things that everyone always tells you to do in the comments below. No, don't drop a like in the comments. Yeah, just type out the word like in the comments, okay? Don't actually like the video. Just type out the word like. So yeah, without any further ado, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good time. Have a good whatever. I'll see you later. Hopefully. Be sure to subscribe. Yeah.